Every spring, the U.S. Army Heritage and Education Center in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, hosts a living history event featuring several hundred reenactors from all eras of American history.
The two armies clash at the Battle of Frontiers in 1914. They clash, they dig in, and they start trying to outflank each other, each time met with stalemates. So by the end of 1914, early 1915, you have a solid line of trenches from the base of the Swiss Alps in the south to the Belgian coast, where the war sits for about the next 4 years. The French army generally holds about 80% of the line. When you really look at the war, the French army has about 80% of the line, and it's really on the Western Front. The war is really between the French and the Germans going at it. The French lose between 1.2 and 1.3 million men of military age. That would be like us going to war today and losing 11 million men out of our population.
So why do you like to come out and do this?
Well, I mean, I enjoy the French is challenging to research, and because there's not a lot written in English about the French Army. They were the bulk of the Allied force, and I just found it fascinating to read about it. I was stationed in Germany when I was in the Army. I visited some of the battlefields there, and it got me really interested in some of the World War I aspects. The equipment and the just the general look of it, I thought was really pretty neat, and so it's really been fun to learn about, and also to instruct others. A lot of people, especially in the United States, don't know much about the French or the involvement. A lot of people think I'm German. You know, they don't know about the blue uniforms because of all the black and white photographs. So they find that fascinating. And in the whole period of the First World War, you know, you start out, you know, with linear tactics in the French with dark blue overcoats and red trousers, much like the Civil War. In the 4 short years, you know, you have the machine gun comes into play, the more prominent, tanks, airplanes, poison gas. So you have all this technology in warfare in a 4-year period. I just find that's pretty interesting time period.
What was it like visiting those battlefields over there?
I think it's pretty sobering, especially places like Verdun. You know, that really, even today you see the scars on the land, the shell craters, villages that were destroyed that were never rebuilt. You know, you can walk trails there and there's still shrapnel laying around the ground even today. There's just so much of it. And the whole place just feels very, very somber, almost like an open cemetery, the whole place. So it really makes you kind of appreciate what we have today. You know, a lot of the suffering these guys went through back in the day.
This is a German World War I pillbox, late war defensive position.
A position like this would have been poured concrete about 2 to 3 feet thick, and there would have been 6 men living in here. On each side there are 3 bunks, and what I'm standing on here is the gun platform. There would have been 2 machine guns, one on each side here. And the whole idea of this style pillbox, there would have been a series of them in a row, and in front of that would have been all barbed wire. The barbed wire was to slow down the attack, and also these machine guns here were to also slow down that attack. And they could use less men along the line in a situation like that. And the idea was too to slow an attack down, but also if they were going to get overrun, they were told to kind of cut and run and get out of this position. These positions were built as part of the Hindenburg Line, which was around 1917 or so, and it took the Germans about, I think it was like 3 or 4 months to actually complete the line itself before they actually started attacking and trying to chew away at these lines. And they actually worked really well. The Germans also had stormtroops that they had specially trained, and a lot of these soldiers were younger soldiers that were more physically fit. And the idea was if this area was getting attacked, they could send the stormtroopers into that particular area to help stem the tide of the attack itself and maybe throw it back. I'm starting to find out how devastating the war was, and when they say it was a world war, I mean it was all over the place. I mean down in Africa and over, you know, in China and all that, and it's I think it's really good that we remember what really happened and how many lives were really lost here. So you know, we don't do this to really glorify it. It's more that we like the military history of it. So